Hello, my name is Gordon. This is Kathy, my sister-in-law. We're here to talk about our experiences with our
Okay.
cancer. So, first off, a special thank you for all those people that have actually emailed us and phoned us, get-togethers, snow removal,
Flowers,
flowers, you name
phone
it,
calls.
phone calls. We just have been just very thankful for all these things that have happened. And we're going to start off by saying that first off, having been diagnosed with cancer
It sucks.
sucks, but at the same time, we have some positive experiences from it. Now, I have a pancreatic cancer. It's called metastatic, spread to my liver. I've had very good fortune with the chemo. Has not slowed me down too much. I had a lot of shrinkage in my tumors until recently they've gone much smaller. Right now, it's just started to change. So I'm starting new chemo this next week. But again, I think I'm still looking forward to being a positive experience. And I'm also looking forward to a possible clinical trial. And if that goes well, who knows what may happen. Kathy?
Mhm. Well, in my case, in June of 2020, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and I did have to have a double mastectomy. Unlike Gordon, I did have a lot of difficulty with the chemotherapy. I had to have chemotherapy and radiation, and I had a lot of um, side effects from the chemotherapy. The first time that I did it, I ended up in hospital. I was on a unit that was put right next to the nurse's station, in that they actually didn't know if I was going to make it at that time, because my body totally reacted to the first set of chemotherapy. They had to change all of the drugs and things that I was on. Throughout the venture with chemotherapy, I did have several side effects, in that I had lost my hair. There were times that I didn't get off the couch. There were times that I couldn't walk. I had to have a nurse come in each time to give me extensive treatments and follow up, just to make sure that things would go well. So it was a very rough journey, but I'm pleased to say now that I've just had a CAT scan, and they've told me that with the CAT scan that there is no spread. However, I do have to be careful in that it is only 2 years, and that doesn't mean that the cancer is gone. It just means that there's no sign of spread. And so that was the best news that they could possibly give at this particular time.
So what we're saying in this video may have no bearing on anybody who's watching it right now,
Mm.
although in the future it may. If there's a life-changing event or a cancer or some other medical condition or a car crash or whatever, and you become desperate, I think this may be helpful, which is why we're doing it.
Right.
What's really important, Kathy?
Well, um, as Gordon had said, that you might not understand right now, because things might look like life is going really well. Up until June 2020, I thought things were going well. We were planning trips. I was talking about my retirement in a year and a half, and some of the things that we're going to do once we retired. And then boom, I hear, I'm sorry, you have cancer. And in that particular time, they weren't sure. They thought it was even worse case scenario than 3. They had thought it was 4. It looked like it was in my organs. But I was fortunate in that it did turn out to be 3. But my life changed. And so all of the things that were important about some of the things, like my cottage, the trip that I had just gone on, we went with friends, we were planning different types of events, and my career. What was I going to do in my last 2 years? Was I going to stay where I was I going to work on other things? um, all those things became unimportant, and what became important was my relationship with Christ. And that was probably, and I shouldn't say probably, I should say definitely, what helped me get through this particular process.
So, in short, cancer certainly has changed our lives. And in fact, cancer actually has, you might say, turned out to be a gift.
Yes, indeed.
And so you look at those gifts, you say, how does it helpful? What are some gifts that you could share with you? We have a few, obviously, that brought us closer to God. We realize that our faith and our relationship with Christ is what really gives us our strength.
It's true.
Something to add, Kathy, as well, or not?
Well, we realized a lot of the caring process, the people out there that were actually there, and they were praying for us. They were constantly communicating. There's people that are still contacting and saying, how are you feeling? Long after the process itself, the initial diagnosis, they're still there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I realized for myself was it was a gift for me, because as I became closer to Christ, I also had this feeling of looking at these people that were doing such good and so much communication, that I wanted to be more like them. And in being more like them, I felt like I wanted to be more like what Christ wanted me to be in the first place.
I go along with that. I also realize that material possessions really mean very little.
Nothing, not
your house, your car, whether this room needs to be painted or done, those kind of things really mean very little.
Yeah, and you don't get to that point until you get to the point where you realize what's important.
So in our journey with cancer, I guess you might say that we've experienced that we don't have at this point any fear.
Right. In fact, we're almost in a different sort of way looking forward to it.
Yeah.
In that we're not looking forward to death itself, but meeting Jesus Christ and being with Jesus Christ. That is what it's about. It
is, and we like you to keep that in mind, that we could go on and maybe we'll make another video, who knows, but right now it's just that if you are at a desperate time in the future, if you want to refer back to this video, and we're still kicking, by all means talk to us. But
if not, just watch our video.
But as you can see, we're in pretty good spirits, and we actually look forward to seeing you or talking to you, wherever that may be. So thank you very much.
In the meantime, thanks so much for watching.